You're absolutely by the seat of your pants on this one.
Dude, I always am. It's
way
my
to fly,
show, dude. It's hey, there's only one way to fucking do it, and that's the way we fucking do it. What's going on, metalheads? Thank you all for tuning into this week's episode of the Metal Forge. My name is Mark Jackson. I am your host. Holy fucking shit, what the fuck happened in the Midwest? Scott, can you fucking help me out here?
I tell you what, man. Snowmageddon happened. They just dumped a bunch on us pretty quickly, and as always, nobody's ever prepared. Got to get the milk and got to get the bread, baby.
Oh, fuck, man. You're not fucking kidding. So, ladies and gentlemen, Scott Martin, Eulogy in Blood, friends of the Metal Forge for a long time now. Very long time. Holy shit. Like, I can't fucking even remember back to the first time I met you. It's like we've always been a constant going on, and it's just like, yeah, that's Scott's band, or hey, that, you know, and it's just been like always this thing. But I don't know if it was at a metal fest, I don't know if it was at fucking like a Union Station show or what the fuck ever. You know, it's just like we were just kind of aware of each other.
Yep, in the orbit. Definitely have been in the orbit. It's the 6 degrees of separation sort of thing. Definitely. I think
for sure. You know,
at least
like
10 years.
At least, yeah, because you know, I mean, shit, we were all playing for fucking like Allen shows out in Shepherdsville, and you know, whatever we could fucking get. Because I was talking with a friend the other day about the dark days of metal, and like between like 2000 and fucking like 5 and 2011, or you know, or 6 and 12, you know, somewhere in that period, there was like really fucking kind of scrounging for fucking shows. There wasn't like you weren't playing all the fucking time, and when you played a show, it fucking meant something. Like holy shit, and people showed the fuck up.
You know, also I think the internet kind of had something to do with that, because there was that little time period where not everybody was going from dial-up to broadband, and so you were still actually hustling the info out to the masses, you know, via the foot soldiers that you got, and it made it feel just more special when you actually had that turnout, because you put in a lot of, you know, like sweat equity basically in getting that done.
Sure.
So it definitely, you know, not a lot of the spots to actually, you know, have good shows for metal that wouldn't get shut down too. You know, to get into one of those, you had to, you know, be a pretty damn good band, because there's a lot of damn good bands to pick from. They didn't just put anybody out there.
Well, and two, like, you know, going back into like scene history in here, the place over in the Quadrangle in Jeffersonville.
Soundstick.
Like that. Like that's the first time I ever remember meeting Saul.
Yep. Wow.
And that was in like 97 or some shit.
And actually, I want to say it was 96 probably, because it was Donnie Arbuckle. That was the guy that, at least the spot in the Quadrangle that I'm thinking of, which is probably after that when they didn't let another one in there, I would say.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, he was kind of like just doing an all ages sort of thing, and that was pretty much the first one, unless you rented out like the Civic Center or the VFW or the, you know, something like that. They didn't have a lot of places to put shows on in Jeff, for sure.
Yes, in this area, and I don't know if that is just like a Midwest thing, or if there's other areas that had that same problem, because you know, you said it right there, renting out VFW, civic centers, you know,
Optimist Club.
Yeah, the Optimist Club, Knights of Columbus, you know, fire departments. We rented out the Pekin Fire Department and put on shows, you know, and
the National Guard Armory on what is that, Grant Line Road in New Albany.
Yeah,
I played a metal show with there, and it was my first actual band that did something, Chronosphere. It turns out there was a band that opened for us called Cantaloupe Jam, and Marlon was in that band.
Dude, that's
Yeah,
wild.
yep.
Of
It was
course
just
he would. I mean, Marlon is such a sweetheart. He's just like, hey, what's up? He's just like
yeah.
he's like so quiet around everybody, it seems like. He stays
His
well to
demeanor.
himself. But
He
he
really is anchored. He's really an anchored guy, man. That's like the
very
best way to
much.
describe him. Very anchored, and he's very confident and like the things that he does, and he just doesn't feel the need to really address things. He has that's just one of his beautiful personality traits. If something is going on around him, somebody's saying something, what I mean? He's like, nah, so he's saying it. I don't, you know what I mean? It's no skin off my teeth type
Sure.
dude, and I respect the hell out of that for because I'm the first person like, what'd you say, man? And not him, because that he's the one that's like, duh, you know what I mean? I would expect no less type out of people. So
Right.
yeah, he definitely,
He
but
he
sweet
is
dude,
very gentlemanly as well.
Yeah, yeah, that is
He is very
very gentleman,
gentlemanly. And
definitely.
but like, and then watching him on stage just get the fuck down. And it's just like, this is the whole package.
It is, yeah. It's like he flips a switch. And I'll look over sometimes and just I'm just like, my God, Bubby, I better pick up the pace if I'm gonna keep up with this, because he'll literally be just crab walking almost, and you're like, damn.
Oh
And he
yeah.
still knows right where to come in vocally. I've had the microphone cords fly out like in moments of passion on stage, and I'll hear the vocals coming out my parts because I'll look over and he's singing them because the dude just he's a ring general when it comes to that sort of thing.
Hell yeah. That's a good term there. The ring general,
Yep.
like uh Volter or whatever he is now.
Yeah.
Uh whoever he is now. I can't remember.
That
Um
one guy.
yeah, that one guy. Dude, so like Snowmageddon happened. We were gonna do this in person, and then where we are in Indiana, we're about 30 miles apart, but it got fucking dumped on between fucking like 8 and like 12 inches of fucking snow.
Definitely. I know that in the drift parts, it's up to my knees, but it's about calf high. So we got every bit of 10 inches up
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, and where I'm at right next to the river, I got about so I went out and shoveled on Sunday and took off about 6 or so inches. And then I was just like, fuck. And did a pretty good job of it, enough to where I could get the car in and out pretty easily. As soon as I come in, it started fucking snowing again. and and then I went out on Monday and it was about another fucking 4 or so inches of fucking snow that I had to take back off.
Yep. It just seemed like Sunday, I wasn't expecting as much to come down as what did. And it was about 5 o'clock and it was out there. And it was probably, at least an extra 3 inches here. That happened between that noon and 6 o'clock time period on Sunday.
Oh,
It was
sure.
coming down. It was big, thick, wet snow too. So yay.
Yeah. See, down here it was kind of it was heavy, but it was like fine, like powdery shit that like, but it was still heavy,
Yeah.
after once it
Such stuff
fucking
that
did
makes the
come down,
blood
but it was real
snowball.
yeah. Oh my gosh. That shit that sticks in the shovel that
Yeah.
that pisses you
That's
off. That's
yep.
just fuck this. And it's like I'm envious of my friend Aaron up in Connecticut who got a fucking a snowblower for Christmas or whatever, a snow sweeper or whatever.
See, my wife's family, they're from the upper Michigan, and I had family up there in the UP is what they call it, the Upper
Yeah.
Peninsula, and snowmobiles, and they just that sort of thing. And I had never witnessed snow at that kind of level. And I went up there in February, and I mean, coming from mid-February in Clark County, sometimes you get nice 50-degree days. to stepping off a Greyhound bus and them having 4.5 foot of snow on the ground and staying like that until late April, early May. She comes down here. She's like, "Oh, you guys don't have snow. This isn't." So whenever we get like a decent amount, she's like, "Well, it kind of reminds me of home a little bit." I'm like, "Oh God, forget that.
No
Just
shit.
can't." Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, not a fan of it personally. I mean, uh, if it did come down to it, I probably could have got out on Monday, just because, where I'm at, they did take care of the roads. They were pretty well on top of them. Of course, they fucking pushes right up into your fucking driveway, of course.
Oh yeah,
Eh,
oh yeah. You get that nice little wall that you got to kind of bust through.
yeah, so fuck a bunch of that shit. So yeah, want to move to somewhere that's maybe South Kentucky where it's like Bowling
My
Green, somewhere down there, so you don't get much snow. Maybe a dusting.
That would be, somewhere. I'm from Paducah, Kentucky, and that was kind of like they fit the bill. They hardly ever get any snow, and probably Tennessee for me. I like to go a little bit further. I don't want any snow if I can help it. Really, I,
Sure.
you know,
Yeah.
I don't want it like the nuclear hot, like the Florida hot, but I mean, I'm a
Yeah, but in
warm
Florida,
climate
you got to deal with fucking gators.
and mosquitoes too.
Yeah,
The bugs
and
will kill you
and
off
and
down there.
hurricanes.
Yeah, and the Florida man, so all of it together, it's kind of might stick
And
to
you know
Georgia.
what? And in all honesty, there's some of these fucking stories from shows that we could probably tell from back in the day that if it were done in Florida would be a Florida man story.
Yes, absolutely.
That we're
Yeah,
probably involving each of us.
without incriminating too much, yeah, it's probably
Yeah,
definitely could point out a
cra-
few occasions at least.
oh my gosh. Um Fuck. Dude, so what's been going on? How's Eulogy doing? How are things? You put out a single last year.
Yep, we started the year off with Paper God, and we finished off the year with Oathbreaker. We have another one that's getting ready to come out called Digital Cancer. We've kind of like last year, we kind of took it on the chin a little bit. Everybody was dealing with a lot of personal, family stuff going on, and we kind of had to put a lot of stuff on the back burner for Eulogy, just because we're adults. Sometimes
Sure.
you got to do that adult shit, man. And this year we're really like focused on getting the rest of. We have, about 3/4 of the album is done, and we've just been like kind of like ironing out the nitty gritties. We got some videos that are going to be coming out. We have some show announcements. Just doing the whole damn thing this year. I'm going to try to really take advantage of like just pressing right after the album drops, which I don't want to give like a firm date, but we're really out summertime. It should be out in early summer. Is kind
Sure.
of like where our thought process is with it. Yeah, I just it's just been a lot of stuff that's gone on, but we get together every time we do get together. We're just like we're about like a bunch of kids. It's just like we're happy to see each other, even more excited to get to jamming on stuff. And I think in this time frame now that like the brotherhood has really kind of like rose up, and like we've shown each other we're family at this point. We're 7 years deep into this, and with family, sometimes you've got to take and you've got to give the respect to the other members to take care of their business, and not hold it over their heads like, hey, this is your fault, this isn't getting done. It's been none of that. It's just been a complete like, hey man, like this has been a shit year for all of us, but next year is not going to be a shit year. We're going to make sure of it. So we keep
For
everything
sure.
positive. Definitely. It's been, I mean, like the new stuff that we have been writing is I wouldn't say a complete departure from us, but it's definitely, we're kind of like floating more into that beat down phase. We're just really aggressive, strongly, attitude, with the lyrics and everything, and a little like the anger. in a lot of the situations, it just kind of like really bubbles over the top. And it's not as pretty as some of our other pieces. It's just really, it's like getting bludgeoned by a motherfucker running straight at you with a bat, just pummeling you. That was the effect we were looking for. And we want it to be uncomfortable for people, discussing, things. It's like, man, that they're hitting on some topics that, need to be hit on, but not a lot of people want to talk about it or even listen to it. So hopefully it strikes a chord with people. Hopefully it's something that people can, at least a couple people can find relatable and help them get through. That's all any of us can do is, just get through it. And so if we can help each other with music or anything else, that's our part, man.
Definitely, dude. And I totally, agree with everything you said there. And that's, the thing is yeah, just getting through it. That's, if that's all that you can do, that's what you can do. And,
Yep.
being able to be in a band that is, even with taking the personal time off, Overload's done the same thing. And, there's nothing wrong with that right now. Ice Owl has had to do that at a time. So we're totally cool into that. We're all doing our thing and all of our stuff, and things come out when they do, because that's, you have to meet your own timeline because, hey, life. you know,
Yeah,
you know, I mean, metal
definitely.
every day, yeah, but life does a thing. We all have a fucking job to go to, you know, and some days, you don't feel like fucking practicing after fucking work, but sometimes, hey, it's like you're jazzed when you're not feeling it, but you fucking turn that switch when you get there because
It's
everybody's
kind of,
there, and
yep, you kind of feed off that, feeding off of each other. And it kind of, it's like, hey, man, back was bothering me, whatever, but you get in the room and everybody's together. Then all of a sudden there's just some sort of synergy that goes on and everybody feeds off of it. And, we make each other better. That's what, as bands, that's how you have a good band is when you have that synergy and you are making each other better for being in the room and doing what you're doing, whether it's just talking, whether it's doing the rehearsal or writing. And that's the magic. That is the
yeah,
magic right there.
mapping things out,
Yep. Yep.
and yeah, you're absolutely right with that. And I think that's what, you know, that's one of the most rewarding parts of it, is the process to getting there
It,
is, you know,
love that part.
because getting hung up on a fucking riff, where you just fucking lose your goddamn mind on it or something. And you're just like, what the fuck? Why can I not get this? And then when that fucking moment comes and it's finally when it gets there, and then you're just like, all right, now I understand.
It's the
And
clip.
yeah,
It,
it's
it,
like
you
as
know,
soon as it fucking turns around, and then there it is, right in
definitely.
fucking right into overdrive.
That's key. Like with us, we've always had this uncanny ability to just walk into the room and just just basically cold bore shot. Chris will just start playing a riff, and Jay usually 9 out of 10 times is the next one right behind with a beat. Then all of a sudden we just ab lib something, and it might not have a lot of changes, but like 70% of the ideas for songs usually come like that. And it's just like a warm up. It's just like we've done that since day one. It's like, well, let's just like feel each other out. Chris will just throw a riff out. But then, like, when you start mapping it all out, that's when it's like, I can't get it. It's like, we're just going to stop. We'll come back to this. Chris is taken to recording everything because we do that so much. You get so far on the song and then you get stuck and you're like, we could waste a lot more time. And you never really get it when you force the issue. So we've learned to just kind of go back on that and go. But yeah,
Sure.
that magic of being able to walk in and just jam something ad lib, that's how I always knew we had that kind of synergy as a band together. This is we can do that, and it just as soon as we do it, it makes you feel better. It's like, okay, we're still okay. I'm an overthinker anyway, so that's just me in general. I'm overthinking everything, but
Sure.
it kind of peels away when we get into that room and just do our thing. It really does.
Dude, that's rad as shit because that again, part of the fun of being in a band is when you can just sit there and play a riff, play what the fuck ever, and then somebody just starts doing something with it, and you're just like, okay, what are we doing here? And it's like,
Yep.
that's
That
kind of a good idea.
yeah,
And sometimes they become
or
songs,
not.
sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't record it when you got the chance, and
Oh,
it just disappears into the aether until like a few years later. It's like when you sit there and say, hey, I had this riff a few years ago that I think we played through, but I don't think we ever did anything with it.
and then he plays it and you go, that's the fucking one we were trying to get you to remember, damn it. Yeah.
Yeah, that happens all the fucking time.
Oh, that right there, or the like. Okay, it was so cool. Let's just do it one more time. And you're like, it doesn't sound the same. You're like, something is fundamentally off. You're not adding, or you've added something, and
Yep.
it's like that flash. That flash of lightning, lightning in a bottle sort of situation. It's like if you don't record it. So now that's one thing he records everything, and for good and bad, because I'm sure that there are some horrific things,
Dude,
just like, woo.
so like I understand doing that. Like I used to do that with overload practice. I would get a wild hair every so often, every couple of months, and I would start recording like every fucking practice and going home and putting it on digital and fucking, listening to it in the car on the way to work because I had like a half-hour drive to work, so I could listen to it there and then critique what needed to be changed and just doing all the stuff, right? And it makes you, totally, I guess, appreciate the bands that are putting out the material, like the bands that are like 30 and
Pumping
40.
material.
What's
Yeah.
that?
The ones that are just pumping material out and steady
Well,
good
that the
material.
ones that are putting like uh X version of song, take 27, take 39, 140 BPM, 136 BPM, where it's just like they've got so many different versions of the songs that they recorded because they were recording their rehearsals and shit.
Yeah. I,
And
I
it's
got
like, dude, when bands like that release that stuff, I dig it.
I do too. There was like an acid bath. It was some kind of bootleggers and like had demos on it too. And I remember there was I want to say it was Graveflower, and I liked the version that was the demo version. I like both versions, but it was both of them. I think it had like Believe Me in Ocean and Graveflower, and they were both the demoed. And there was just subtle changes in there, but you're like, hey man, I think I like that. And that always is cool when they kind of do the messing with that sort of thing, and leaves it up to the, hey,
Oh,
I liked it
sure.
or I didn't like it, and that's, what I mean. It creates, I guess, a buzz. People get to talk about it. Just one more thing to add to, what I mean, keeping, people, your name in people's mouths, basically. Because
Yeah,
that's the
oh,
game.
absolutely.
At
Well,
least it's the game if you want to, you know what I mean. If you want to get a reach out there, and
oh,
if you,
sure.
yep. It's definitely hard to stay obscure, if you want to do something. It's just like, you not in this day and age. You've got to get out there
No,
and
I mean,
hustle.
there's so
Put your
much
digital
that's
footprint
out
down,
there.
baby.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, one of my favorite demo release versions ever were from the Ozman Cometh CD back in the 90s, where they had Black Sabbath, War Pigs, and Fairies Wear Boots all had alternate lyrics to them. They were alternate versions of those songs, they were demos. And dude, like those were badass demos and shit. Like the original, like Walpurgis version of War Pigs. Yeah, that's some
Really?
cool shit.
I'm gonna have to check that out. Definitely. I did not know that existed.
Oh
But I was
yeah, that's some
yeah.
rad shit.
I always respected Ozzy, respected, what I mean, the stuff. There were songs that they had that I liked, but I never got like completely just. Some people just, they go overboard with Ozzy. I get it. and I've
Mm-hmm.
always been a fan of him, but it wasn't until after he died that I really started taking a really deep dive and, like realizing just how much that dude. I want to say it was Aaron Justice who said, you know why he struck such a chord? Because when he died, there were so many people that tie good times in with an Aussie song, whether it was high school graduation or,
Mm-hmm.
prom or your wedding. Like generally, you know what I mean? And not everybody, but a lot of people listen to Ozzy, and it was pretty easy to hear an Ozzy song, and people tie it emotionally to events, and it's a sentimental thing. And it kind of like it struck home when I thought about that. I was like, man, I thought about how long I've been, like, just listening to different, like, Ozzy will come on and it's tied to events, and it really, that made me like want to look deeper into more stuff of Ozzy's, and the more I've seen, there's stuff it's like okay, but then there's other stuff I'm glad I went ahead and checked him out the way I did.
Sure.
Just going deep. Definitely. He's
Oh
definitely
yeah,
brilliant.
because there's so much like there's so much to his life
Yeah.
that if you just take him for there's so many different aspects to where you could look at Ozzy as a person, Ozzy as a performer, Ozzy,
Yeah,
where,
100%.
is his business dealings, for one thing. The performances, the crazy drug antic years, the retirement slash not really retiring, coming back and making like a festival di- uh tour,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
upstarting so many bands in that as well. That's the thing that I think, a lot of people shit on Sharon, and but there is a lot that Sharon and Ozzy have done for metal.
The betterment, keeping the metal train moving forward.
Yeah, considering.
Opportunities that were created and awareness to more people, from the mainstream, kind of like, hey, I know this name, I hear this, and just, the spotlight being shown. It's really definitely
Right.
both
Well,
of
and I
them. I mean,
mean,
like
and
Sharon
then
was,
you look at like the original Ozfest years, like what, like 96 through like 2002 or whatever. And then you get, that's all the way up from like Ozzy's, Osmosis album to the Down to Earth album. And the way metal had changed in that time period, that more bands, there were more different types of metal being introduced,
really,
whether
like,
what
definitely.
yeah, like there were different sects of metal. Now there was new metal, but there was still the old school like thrash bands, and because Metallica was still there, but they had done Load and Reload and season, and what Diabolus and Musica had came out around that time, and it was just like a completely different thing. And then you had the alternative branch of metal where you had like things that skirted the hard rock with Foo Fighters that got kind of heavy, and like with Queens of the Stone Age, and during that mainstream time.
Definitely. Did you ever
And
get to go to one?
I'm sorry.
Did you get to go to an Ozfest?
Oh yes, yes, yeah, two actually.
Two. See, I got to go to '97, and at the time it was the Noblesville Deer Creek,
Yep.
and that was the one where Ozzy did his set, and then he came out and did the Black Sabbath set, and it was a damn good time. That was definitely. I want to say it's like seemed like it was Machine Head, Fear Factory, Pantera, Typo Negative. And even like the second stage had Cold Chamber and Drain, STH and Neurosis and Sworn Enemy, and getting to
Well,
see all those
if
different bands.
Tony Iommi was on that too, if the Black Sabbath was on that tour, that's
Yep.
uh that's Tony was getting a divorce and met his new wife, who's the I believe she's a guitar player in Drain STH.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they've been married ever since. So,
Really? No, see,
um,
I didn't.
so when I saw them, they had just done a reunion with Black Sabbath. So they had done the reunion tour in the States over the winter. That was from like November, December to like February. And I got to see Black Sabbath, Pantera, and the Deftones in that February in Dayton, Ohio. And then I got to see Black Sabbath again on Ozfest that summer in '99, and
Nice.
it was and that was Black Sabbath, Slayer, Rob Zombie, uh, holy shit, and that was Primus was on main stage. Fear Factory headlined second stage. Drain STH played ours. Uh, Actually, the second band of the day on the little side stage was a 9-member band from Iowa,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I
Or jumpsuit
that was
wearing guy.
and yep, orange jumpsuit wearing guys at the time, and it was their first major tour, and they had just put out the first album, and they had just got picked up and re-released the first album with a different track listing and different art.
That's one of those bands that, don't make sense how they made it, but they did. Because you look at having 9 members and you like doing the split and all those different opinions. I guess they probably
Well,
had the structure pretty well set up where it didn't Tortoise Man didn't really matter what he, you know what I mean? If he was gonna start yelling about lyrics, they just get a new Tortoise Man. But
well,
definitely,
the whole thing about that is you had the core band, you had the 4 core members,
yeah,
and then everybody else was a hired musician. So it's basically whoever is considered a core member at that time. You know,
yeah.
people get
Heck, all the core
promotions.
members.
There's a bass player that I know from Kentucky, been in the band for 20 years, has been on every album since like '06 with a band, and he chooses to be an employee because of the if he is an employee of said project, that he shares none of the financial liability.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I think I know who you're talking about now that you say that. But yeah, that I mean, that goes on quite a bit, especially when just like for instance, a more well known band, and they offered an original member after they were coming back on this not in this lifetime sort of tour thing. And they were
Mm-hmm.
like, "Hey, you're an employee, not and you're getting an employee cut." And I think like that term, especially if you're like the creator, you're like one of the main guys, the original.
That's a
That
Dave
probably,
Ellefson thing.
yep. It's like there's a little burn there. You're like, well, I'm a little bit more than an employee, homie. I'm a little bit more. But like you said, on the other end of that coin, you're not. I mean, as an employee, there's certain perks and benefits and things that you get, and there's other things that you don't have to share responsibility in because you're just an employee. So
Right.
I can see both sides of that coin being, definitely, yeah.
Oh
That's a
yeah.
whole thing.
Well,
We're good to go.
all right. A little bit of a detour there for a second. Had to talk shop. But
And that's how we did it back in our day.
yeah, no shit. We just cut the tape, and and then whoever was just digitally monitoring this on the NSA, they saw everything that was said, but you didn't.
They just throwing their headphones off. They're like, ah.
It's
Fucking
like, God
asshole.
damn it. Why are they talking about bone spurs? They're talking about the president. And it's like, no, we're not. We're talking about our own fucking getting old fucking shit. Like, and nobody else needs to hear that, I guess. Like, dude, like,
No,
I really gotta pay attention to like how, like, do I need to go just for men or some shit? Because like in
right?
here, it's pretty fucking white and bright.
It goes like like in certain lights. It's like, man, is that blonde? I think it's blonde. I think maybe it's my
Yeah.
visions.
Fucking it's like, I didn't think that when I would be in my 40s, I would be turning into Jay Shepard.
Right, the White Walker, the White
Love
Walker.
you, Jay. One day, yes, you can come onto the show. We will get you on here. I know you're asking that right now. Because Jay's like, you should let me come on the show. It's like, well, we'll set something up, but we never fucking do. And it's just like,
We
we never
definitely,
follow up. We'll get Jay on the show here soon. Well,
I've known
it'll
that
be
cat.
all Jay all the time.
That I've known that cat since fifth grade, and he definitely, you know what I mean. You get him going, and I mean, and when he's loose and out of his shell, some of the things that he says and talks about, it just he's entertaining. He's an entertaining fella. I mean, I love him. I mean, he's been trying lately too. I mean, in every aspect of life, dude. Jay has really been stepping up, dude. And I mean, I have been more proud of that dude like in the last 8 months than since we were in fifth grade. Just because you like, if you're not fucking applauding for your friends when they're doing good, you're not a good friend. And
Exactly.
so, and like lately, I've just as a spectator, that dude has really like things are clicking for him, and it makes me fucking happy for the dude.
Dude, that's great. And I love to hear it because, like, Jay is a good dude and like
Everybody
super,
needs a
super
W
awesome
too.
guy. He's funny, you know. He gets the fucking job done on the drums. He's every time we've ever shared a show together, it's like we've never conflicted like during changeovers and stuff. And we've played a lot of shows together
We
over the
have.
years.
He
Um,
is. He's all business, especially when it comes to. He not only is like getting his stuff off the stage too.
oh
He
yeah.
understands because it's like I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. You get yours off quick, I'll get mine on quick. We'll make
Yeah,
this.
or one of the cool things is he always asks to help, and I love that. He's
Yeah,
always hey, do you need help? What do you need? What can you help you with? It's like,
yep.
thank you so much, dude. Can you put this on the pool table back there? My case is on the pool table. They're probably screaming because it's on the pool table because that's the way we fucking roll. You know,
Yep. He'll
uh,
probably kill me for saying this, but the dude, he has the exterior of a seasoned serial killer, but the interior is like one of the most sweetest innocent dudes.
Ozzy
Literally,
Bear.
he is like off the air, like me and him. He's still the same dude from fifth, sixth grade. Swear to you, like just us talking. He's still that dude. You know what I mean? And like,
That's funny that you say that because my mom and I had a conversation here recently, and I'll be 43 and she'll be 73 this year, and she had said, but I don't feel no different than from when I was like 17. It's like the mentality, her like idea of things is not, she just feels like the same person. It's like, I totally get that. It's like,
I
yeah,
do too.
I
Some
mean,
people, some people
I
don't let
could
the world
honestly
around.
say about 12 years old.
Yeah, that's,
Which what you said about Jay, fifth, sixth grade, you're about 12 years old.
yep. But yep, parks are still funny to me too. It is. It's one of those things. We all
Dude,
get to. Yeah. Yep.
I mean, why the fuck not? It's
Why
like,
the
if you can't sit there and laugh at the 80s comedies and shit, like the John Hughes comedies, where a lot of it is, like fucking crazy fucking, some of it's dick and fart joke shit, but not all of it. But some of it's vomit, with
Yep.
the great outdoors.
Well,
Um,
if you don't like it, you're wound up too tight. That's the problem. It's just,
sure.
it just, you wound up too tight.
So let's talk about Scott as a person. We're going to get into, some like general profile questions about you, but we're going to also ask some stuff from the deck of cards. But, Scott,
All right.
what made you want to get into music?
It, I was just a little kid and I had a record player and there were some of the cadences that, just like it caught my attention. Then as, I got a little bit older, a lot of my family on my mom's side was, musically inclined. I had an aunt that, she was a multi-instrumentalist and an uncle that, he was a music theory teacher basically. And I never like other than the cadences like that kind of music, but it was something that still it just I was drawn towards it, and it made me want to explore what I could do musically by seeing other people do it when I was at a very young age. Even if it was just humming or running my mouth or just I had it is I was trying to sing stuff just little kid before even kindergarten, and I'd get the words all tore up wrong because mom has tapes of it, but it was just something I wanted to do, and I don't know, I think it was just because I found harmonies and stuff of that nature, certain things just like it was pleasurable to I mean I like trying to mimic that when I was young, and also the way things sounded like Motown, like some of the 5-part harmonies that they get into, that stuff just always it captivated me at a young age, and it just made me want to find my place in all that.
Sure.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
So, I don't know if we were rolling when you said this, but you said you were going to be 50 this year. So
Yeah.
that puts you a 76 baby. So we're talking
Bicentennial.
1986. Yeah, hell yeah, man. So here we are, we're talking your formative years in probably discovering, music for yourself, the music outside of your parents, about 1986 to 1990-ish.
Yeah.
So, vastly different world. What were you getting into? Where were you getting your stuff from back in that day?
So we like the MTV, watched quite a bit of it, especially like you're in the dead of winter. You just like the MTV would always be on the background. But I had a buddy across the street, Josh Vanderpool. Now, Josh was not like the typical metalhead, but for some reason he had stumbled onto, I want to say it was Master of Puppets, but the which Megadeth album had Anarchy in UK? Was that Peace Cells or was that Hook and Mouth? What was that? Which
So far so good. So what?
so far so good. So what? He had both those albums on cassette. And he's like, "Come on, man, you got to come over here. You got to hear this." And I, for some reason, like literally, hearing how heavy Master of Puppets was at the time, being at that age, it's like, man, that's evil. I don't know. And I kept going back and like, he's like, come on, dude, let's re-listen to that. And he had, he kind of would get other albums, and then just from there, I branched out to some other friends that they were into. Like I love Guns N' Roses. That was one of my, and I liked like the Skid Rows and ones like that. Not really a lot of hair metal, but more the grittier rock and roll types.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't even a huge Crew fan, but it was kind of like all those bands at the time were floating around, and I kind of like me and Jay went to different middle schools, and we kind of hooked back up our freshman year at Jeff High and got back with him, and he had the good, so to speak. He started showing me Obituary and Sepultura, and it was like, this is what I was missing. This is like this aggression. There was just something. I mean, it was like it kind of tuned into something primal in me, and kind of like it was like some kind of harmonic balance when I heard it, and it felt, it was just like, boom, this is it. This is the Zen. I love it. And it from there, that's like Dave pretty much on the extreme metal path. There have been other friends that have introduced me to different bands. There was like, oh, but that, like, the person that kind of like bumped me up, was like when I got back with him, he had a huge tape collection. And I just go through there and just start staring at it. It is like, oh, dude, we got to play this one. We got to play this one. Sorry, somebody's calling. But yeah, like that's like between Josh Vanderpool, MTV, and him, they kept me all, up to date.
Yeah, man. So when you during this time, as you're getting into all of these bands, what was your first band?
First heavy band, Pantera. I would say, like, when I went, it was
your first band.
Oh, it was called Grim Reality. Yeah,
Okay.
we were in high school, and it had me and Jay and a guy named Rod Pangburn and another guy named Matt Bays, and we basically all were in Jeff High in different grades at the time, and kind of just had a hodgepodge, like, oh, he's got a bass amp, well, I've got a guitar amp I can sing through, and just got together, and that was the first one. And, where we actually were in a room. But before that, like, me and Jay had always talked about, even like in fifth grade, was like, we're going to put a band together. And like, I know this sounds crazy, but we would listen to like Rum DMC and the Aerosmith Walk This Way. And he's like, dude, that's I want to do that. And he's like, yeah, man, I want to do it too. And he's like, I can play the drums. And I'm like, you can play the drums? I was like, yeah, I can play the drums. And it was like kind of towards the end of our fifth grade year when he said that. And we went through, middle school. We didn't really talk. And when he got to high school, he called me. He's like, hey, man, I actually got those drums, dude. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, you got to come over and stay the night. And that was like early on it was either my late junior year or early senior year. And he came over and he starts playing the drums. And that's when it's like, all right, this is going to come together. It did not come together quite great. Yeah. Yeah, he's got like a tape recorder, and he's playing Orgasmatron by Sepultura there. He's like, oh, check this out. And he's just like, wow, man, you can play the drums. And it was the most terrible, little kit, but it was the best little kit we had seen. And so, to us, it might as well have been, a Sonar. It wouldn't have made a difference. It was a drum set. It was like, we're doing this.
He was fucking Neil Peart at that point.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, he's still like, he was the dude because we spent a lot of time together because my house was always the practice spot. So generally, that was also the party spot. It was a basement. We had soundproofed the room. So a lot of shenanigans went on down there in the old basement back in the day. But he would go to bed stumped on a song, and it would generally be like something of Sepultura's, or just be some song. And he'd be like trying to play it, and he would wake up and be able to play it. And he was like, I dreamed about it. And I swear, I think he really was dreaming about how to play it, because it happened so many times. It was like, this is a coincidence. I was watching this dude literally struggle to try to figure out how to play that, and then wakes up and just like walks over to the kit, starts playing it. But yeah,
dude, maybe it's the thing of being able to work it out, subconsciously.
Yeah,
I get it. I mean, there's certain things that like, maybe if I go to this, I'll think about it or something, subconsciously, not even, and then I'll go and play it a different way the next time, and it's like, holy shit, there it is,
Yep, you took the pressure off yourself, and you didn't even realize it, because you did it, subconsciously.
Oh, for sure, for sure. What are you devoted to?
I'm devoted to my family. Of course, the band. I'm devoted to, metal for real. That's something I'm definitely devoted to. I've always been like, a purist when it comes to you need. For me, metal is an emotion. It's an emotional outlet, and if you're going to be, into a metal band and doing that, you better bring your emotions, and that's how you should play, especially as a singer for me. And
Mhm.
I try to stay devoted to metal, and I'm devoting myself to a barbecue business here. We're haven't quite, got everything worked out where I can talk too much about it. But yeah, that's something that's forthcoming this year too.
Is that what
So
the sign is in the background?
that no, that's just that. This is where we're at. We're actually in my
Oh,
smokehouse right now. Like
oh,
I'm out
okay.
there. Yeah, yeah, but like the wife had made me the boar's nest because that's kind of like my nickname for it.
Hell
Where all
yeah,
the magic happens. Yeah,
dude.
it's an outdoor smokehouse. It's pretty cool. But yeah, that's something I'm devoted to that. And but in the most part, I'm just devoted into like literally making the most out of my time moving forward. That's
So, what denotes Indiana barbecue?
you know
Because everywhere has like Texas has a different barbecue.
yeah.
St. Louis has a different barbecue. Tennessee has a different barbecue.
Yep.
What denotes what makes Indiana's different?
I think what makes Indiana's different would be uh, the flavor profile around here. Kentucky has they have a mutton and it's a vinegar based sauce. Here in Indiana, I've noticed that people like the heat, but they also like a little bit of the sweet with it. And also, people do not like the meat smoked, over smoked, and there's like
Sure.
this perfect balance. So what wood you're using when you smoke it makes a real big difference. I had done a hog for some people, a whole hog here. It's been about like we're right at a year now. It's just like about fall of 24, so it's been a little over a year. And he like is like, hey, they were like, hey, check this out. So, we got this hog straight on the hoof. If you want to do it, we're having this family thing, and I did it. And they were like, to make sure the sauces. They didn't want me to sauce the meat. And I was like, oh, dude, I would never sauce the meat. That's your job. You hide when you
Yeah,
sauce the
like
meat. This is
whoa.
your side. Yeah,
No,
but
you prep the meat. You do the
yeah,
deal. They
yeah,
no you
yeah.
no.
Yeah,
Oh,
and they're like, "Oh, okay, thank you." And it was like, and that's when I noticed it. Like a lot of people around here. I'm not going to try to like single people out, but that they'll take and they'll hide their barbecue in the sauce and just hand you sauced barbecue, and that's not the way. And I don't know
no,
if
no,
that's
no,
what
no.
I don't know if that's what they're calling the Indiana way, but I'm going to show y'all what the Indiana way is getting ready to be. I'll tell you that much right now. It
Dude,
is.
in the yeah, the heat, the sweet heat, I think is where it's at, but I think it's a lot of like the local honey.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
actually, that is
the local
big.
honey mixed in with, some of that,
Yep.
good cherry wood
Yep.
fucking
So,
ugh.
for me, it's I use cherry wood and pecan. Those are my
Mhm.
two what I cut with, and it usually makes the best. It's got a mild flavor, but it also has a very I don't know you get a good color from it from the bark and everything with the cherry wood, but the pecan kind of penetrates, and it's a real nice mild flavor. And everybody I've seen, seems to like the pecan. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do some pop ups at first to kind of just test and see like what people like and what they don't like and just react from there. Because there's a lot of people doing barbecue, but there's not a lot of people doing good barbecues. So that's where I'm kind
Hell
of,
yeah, man. You're
yeah.
you're absolutely right. That is the one thing that in this area that we do have a lack of is really good barbecue. Um,
And I hope to
so
fill that gap, but I'm going to let the
hell yeah,
public do the
brother.
thing.
That's a great thing, do what you can with with what you got, It's not easy fucking making fucking ends meet these days for anybody. And to do a fucking business and to actually provide a fucking and a community service, fucking everybody's got to eat. And
Yeah,
making sure people eat well, that's the thing, you know.
it is. that is really right there too. That's something that like is definitely going to be part of the business model. Is not the overpricing. And I've already, I've already sourced the meat from a butcher that's, will stay constant. That I have, for over 10 years, I have used this certain meat, and like everybody that from this certain butcher, and just price point allow me to
Sure.
offer food, a great price for a meal. $5 for a sandwich, a chip, and a drink. And the sandwich is a half pound. A big sandwich.
Yeah.
I think that's people will come to that because you offer them a deal. People need deals in this time, like right now, just really do. And I
Sure.
kind of want to throw that
And
back.
not fucking, yeah, like you just said, overcharging and stuff like that. No, fuck that. Um, if you could travel back to any point in history as an onlooker, where would you go?
Man, that's a good one. For me, I would. I think I go back and just. I want to see how they built the pyramids. I'd like to be an onlooker and have that knowledge in my own head of how and why, and you know what I mean? Because that's always been like the $1 million question, or maybe Stonehenge. Exactly what the builders were thinking when they established and you know built Stonehenge. One of those two we definitely, flip the coin on the either or when they were building the pyramids or yeah, Stonehenge to
See,
just know what the
you're
builders know
staying
what the
relatively modern. They say this planet is over 6 billion years old. What about, and we're just a
I got you
fucking,
one. I got you
yeah.
one. I got you
What
one.
about 2.5 billion years ago in our system? There
Yeah.
you go. That era. See what that
Okay.
Star Warsy and shit would be.
Okay. Let's start with. I'd like to go into that vault that's there below the Vatican, where they've got this forgotten tech from the last reset civilization, and actually see that. And you know, we'll start there because it's supposed to be in tune with your harmonic balance, and it's a living sort of computer type thing, and it would test every single religious point and belief they say. And I'd start right there. I was like, let's walk into that room and see that machine if that's the truth. And it's from a they're saying the Atlantean time, maybe they don't know, but it's to prove that the civilization before us was more advanced. And maybe they were, maybe, you know what I mean, who's history's rewritten and by the winners. And it's
Yeah.
all just been what we've been told. They mean they burned the Alexandria, didn't it? What was that where the real information is, the Vatican hides it. And
Sure.
other
Well,
other people of power, you know what I mean, they
oh, yeah.
hide it from public. It's not. I'd like to know these things. That's definitely.
Sure.
So, and I
No,
think
I totally get that.
that'd
And,
be a place to start.
you said, history's written by the winners. Yeah, and one of my favorite lines from any film is in Braveheart, where he says, "History is written by those who hang heroes."
That's the truth. That
And
is. That is.
and honestly, look at it today. You know, telling you what you didn't fucking see,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
fuck that shit.
Yep.
Fuck that
And,
shit
and,
whole.
and like the technology being able to manipulate the things that are, like public opinion, it can be manipulated with viewing certain things. And, they have the
Yeah, and
ability
that just
now
came out too. That whole
to
thing just came out
recreate
where
and
they said
things.
that about a fucking picture. They
Yeah.
had the picture AI altered or whatever, and fucking the fucking police department shared the fucking, like, that's not the fucking picture. This is. The fuck's the matter with you guys?
Yeah. And that's yeah, that stuff's scary. You know what I mean? Like we're in that's the time period we're in. It, like we're not going to know the truth.
No,
Just no, no.
no, not much longer, anyways. maybe this is our downfall. Who knows? Maybe that AI bubble bursts finally and fucking, just like the
Idiocracy.
virtual reality one did. You remember in the 90s, I'm sure you do.
Oh yeah.
Virtual reality was a big thing. They mentioned it in Jurassic Park. They made the Virtual Boy for fucking Nintendo that really wasn't virtual reality, but it was just like it was Sega Saturn was supposed to be like a VR based deal. They had all of
Lawnmower
that.
Man, the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
fucking
was it all
all of it,
VR. Yep.
and fucking like all of this shit that like, and then that fucking bubble burst, and then you never heard from it again until like the fucking Oculus stuff in about 2014, 2015. And then where is that now? I mean, do people even still use that? I'm sure they do for some bit, but like I haven't seen, but I'm not into the gaming either, so maybe that's where I'm missing it.
And like I've heard like a couple of the guys in the band are like more into gaming than the other, and the Oculus and things. They would talk about it, and the one drawback that it like yeah, it looked like it was happening in your house, like there was zombie games, but there was a motion sickness that would come with it
Sure,
because
yeah.
it's so close to your face, and the movement, it kind of is like it'll do something to you and get you motion sick, and that made it just kind of unenjoyable for. And I wonder if that for a lot of people that's what ended up happening, and that's why it didn't ever really take off. You know, it's just people are
Yeah. I
affected.
remember playing one and like it was crazy shit. Like it was like you see that shit and like you step off a fucking ledge of a building and you're like, it feels like it tricks your brain into like you're fucking falling. Fuck that.
Yeah, no, yep, no. I never really did mess with it, but video games I do play them. But when it came to the Oculuses and whatnot, it's like, do I really want to waste my money and get that? No.
No.
Yeah.
And I'm like virtual console. That's about it. Like I'll play like the old NES and Super NES games on the Switch. That's all I care about. I'm like,
I'm there. That's what I do. Yep, on the
yep,
Switch. You got the
and
yep.
I'll play like Mario Party when friends come over or when I go over to friends' houses and shit. Or like
See,
fucking
no, that's me and my
uh
wife. That's our jam. We
Smash
we do the
Brothers.
Mario. Yep, the Mario Kart and the Mario parties both. They're we hey, you want to play Mario Party? Yeah, and like we've done that since the GameCube days. It was just Mario Party too. It was those something about those games that really the Mario Karts are always cool, but is the Mario parties you just go back and play the hell
Mario
out of
Kart's
those.
cool when you have the four players.
Yes, it's like not nearly as fun with just two of y'all and the cheating ass computer.
Yeah. Dude, like I always wanted to do like a back in the 90s here, and I never got to do this. Like a LAN party
Yeah. Oh yeah,
where
yeah.
everybody like would get their fucking Xboxes together and they would all be able to fucking play on different screens but in the same game.
Yeah, I can't
I
remember.
would
I seen
go
like
over
there was
to there was a couple of cyber cafes back in the day that did that. A couple on
like
Bardstown Road.
I just like me and like I had one buddy and we would get together and play every once and again on but it was like PlayStation 1. And we play the Command and Conquer. And that was like, just I had seen pictures of like, people having the LAN parties, and I always thought that was funny because there was one, it was a dude who's kind of like he was duct taped with the computer to the top of the furnace duct or something, and they were all in there playing, and I was just laughing about that. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right because they all look like they were freshmen in high school. That's what they would do,
No shit, dude.
Yeah, he
No,
was
dude,
like
like
that
gold
same.
when they did it with GoldenEye though, because you
Oh
could
yeah,
play because GoldenEye was like the first like real good, like other than like Doom, was the first really good fucking like first person shooter game that was like that.
Yep, yep. The GoldenEye, well, I loved GoldenEye so much, and that same buddy that we did the land, he actually we both got the 64s around the same time. The GoldenEye, just going nuts, and that the first person shooters. I can remember how many hours we just spent playing that game, and I kind of went back to play it because I think it was the first Wii came out with a GoldenEye sort of remake, and you
Yeah,
even got the controller, and it was like going back and playing. It was like, man, it's not nearly as fun now that all the other ones have come out, but it still has its place because being able to pick up the two
sure.
guns at one time. Yeah,
Yeah, or the golden gun.
yeah, the golden gun. He would always use the lockjaw guy with the hat, or he pissed me off playing against him because he was deadly with that stupid hat, man.
Yes, dude, that's awesome. Fuck yeah, man. What's a mistake that you've made that you've really learned a good lesson from?
Uh,
That's a
It's
hard
on
one to
me.
admit.
Yeah, it is because you know what I mean. Like mistakes that I've learned. One that I have learned that you can't get your time back, and no matter what the job is offering you, is not going to be worth it in the long run. And to go ahead and take that family time. That mistake I learned. I was when I was younger. I dedicated a large block of my children's childhood to this company, and we're talking it would just be weekends, the whole 9 yards. Hey, fire this person, and it was because hey, if you don't do this and you don't do that, the next person in line will do that, and trying to maintain. The financial, you keep things balanced. I did this, and child's, birthdays and things of that nature I missed. I'll never give that because it's never going to be worth it. Those hours to employers, and you know what I mean, just to try to
Sure.
make things meet. I'll find something better to do instead of doing that. That's one mistake that now I've learned. Take the family time. It's
Yeah.
just not going to be there. It's a finite commodity. There's X amount of Christmases, birthdays, X amount of times before it starts getting taken away.
And
So
that's the thing, we, just winging it here. I
yeah,
think that's what we're all doing is just winging it. We're living our closest approximation to what we consider normal. And, um,
that's
there
another thing I've
was
learned.
there
Yeah.
was a saying that I remember somebody saying that I think we've reached the point in our lives uh where life starts taking things away rather than giving us
Giving
things.
them. Yep. We are. We're kind of reaching where you know what I mean. There's a balance, and we're starting to head down towards that other end of the balance. And
Yeah, mine was 35, by the way. Mine
35.
mine was when I turned 35. Yeah. Uh
I've set mine to 60, so I got another 10 before I have to. 60 is when I really need to start thinking about things. I think.
well, no, mine was 35 because it's right in between. um you know uh it's like you're closer to 50 than you are to 20
Yeah.
the day you turn 35 or whatever. And yeah, because it's right in between.
Yeah.
And
I definitely because I'll sit there and I'll count how many certain holidays. Like, man, there's been that many holidays since I've been out of school, or been that many holidays that, like where I've lived now. Because we've been up here in this area for since 2000. I'm like, that's longer than what I spent my whole childhood home. And I
yeah,
thought
that's
we were there
26
forever.
years this year, dude.
Yep, and you're thinking about you think about it as I'll use it like a holiday, like 26 Christmases or 26 winters, or
Mhm.
different things like that. And it's like you like the years are short. The days might be long, but the years are short. They really are.
Oh yeah,
And
I mean, look at this. We're already at the end of January in
no,
26.
definitely, it flew by. Definitely. I'll tell
Yeah,
you,
I mean,
there was one more thing, like that, like a lesson that has taught me quite a bit is to literally not say things in anger, no matter, take a couple of seconds and measure the situation, and do not let emotion be the first, the first volley. And that has helped quite a bit on a lot of situations. Is when you're young, you just run in guns firing. And
oh yeah.
as an adult, comprehension is a much better tool than bravado. It really is, man.
Oh, no, you're 100% right. I've been very guilty of that in my life, of,
Yep,
saying something
yep,
and then thinking later.
yep.
And,
Better to read the room.
yeah, and I constantly misread that room.
Yes,
And
definitely.
I say I constantly do. I have very much tried not to consciously for at least the better part of a decade that I can remember because, of that. And honestly, I think it's also part of like doing this, part of being on the Metal Forge, because, talking with friends, meeting new people, introducing bands to people and people to other people, it's
An
cool
outlet.
shit. And that's where it's at for me, that's where, I can have this episode with you, and yet, we've known each other for years or whatever. And like, fucking tomorrow I can talk to somebody from Calgary, and that kicks ass because it's all the fucking metal culture, dude. It's all the scene.
It does kick ass. That is for certain, man. It's a great outlet, and it's a service what you do for the metal community, and thank you for that, Mark, and thank you for letting me
Ah,
be a part of it. Seriously.
dude, no, man. You're awesome. I dig you guys, and I appreciate you guys. Um, I want you to picture someone in your head, and I want you to tell me the first thing that you see when they come to mind. Harrison Ford.
Millennium Falcon.
That Han Solo. Okay, cool.
Yep.
That's awesome.
First person. Yeah. Solo. I
Han
was sitting there.
Solo. Uh, well, damn. Now I can't. Clint Eastwood.
Dirty Harry.
Ooh, hell yeah. Hmm. I don't really have anybody else. That's a hard pull, because like I could name somebody, Tim Robbins, and I don't
Yeah,
know if
Andy Dufresne. He'll always
okay.
be Andy Dufresne for me.
Yep.
Always.
Okay. See, and I think of the Hudsucker Proxy, which is a good
Yep.
film with him as well, and Jacob's Ladder.
Jacob's Ladder. There was one. I
Oh,
haven't seen that one in forever. Definitely. Yep. There was a stupid one, like it was like Blue Streaker, and it was him in it, or it seemed like it was him and Martin Lawrence. Even though I wasn't a fan of Martin Lawrence, it was
oh
something
yeah, I
about
know that
Tim
movie.
Robbins' comedic, counterfoil
Yeah,
to him.
he's a
It took a
it's
it's
like
bad luck or
Like
something.
Martin Lawrence is a cop or whatever, and he's the
Yeah,
criminal or some shit, but he
yeah,
but he's funny and whatnot.
yep. That one was a great movie with him in it too. But I couldn't tell you his name, so I couldn't, in that movie.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but yeah, I know what movie you're talking about. It's like Blue Streak or something like that,
Yeah. Yep.
or Blue. It's not Blue Chips. That's with Nick Nolte. That's where he's the
Yeah.
basketball coach.
Yep. And the old dude from Jamal Mashburn from UK back in the day. I think he was like
Yeah.
one of the main. Yep.
Yep. Yep. Um. So, what are you most looking forward to in 26?
I'm most looking forward to getting the album out and in the vision that we have, like having it all come out for this, because it's a whole thing. That's why it's taken so long. It's a multi-faceted idea that we're trying to launch, and I'm super excited to see it come to fruition. The barbecue business, I'm definitely, those are two of the at the forefront of my 26. The album, and all the accoutrement that comes with it, and then getting the business launched.
Fuck yeah, man. Dude, that's great. And I'm really, let me know when you're gonna do some stuff. We'll run some promos on here, get out the word for people, hey, we're gonna do this on X day, be there. We'll definitely plug it any chance we get, man. That's, represent, the scene here.
Well, see,
Hell
that
yeah.
kind of ties in. That kind of ties in, man, because it's like the name is Metal Hog Barbecue. So, like that was part of the whole thing, was eventually do a small cooking reel, like you see them do
Yeah.
TikToks, where like, hey, we like to do like a different thing, and then but play a unsigned band from just wherever, and they'll say, hey, you like them? Check them out. They're on this. Just one band, a show, and kind of just like tie that in, and just kind of give love to, like, anywhere that anybody that's unsigned can have their music play. And it doesn't necessarily have to be even metal. It's just if it's kick ass music, man, we're gonna play it, and promote it, and just do it for free just because. And yeah, that's all part of it too. So definitely, man, I appreciate all the
Oh, hell
any
yeah,
amount
man.
of it.
I'm
Yeah.
actually going to hold myself to this goal this year about putting out the metal cookbook.
Oh, fuck yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
There is a Metal Forge cookbook coming. I've got some recipes that we're going to do the thing, and we got to do the photos and all that shit. It's a lot, okay, but
I bet.
I think it's all going to be a self-funded thing. But we're going to get something together this year, from Flamekeeper and the Metal Forge, ossont&battery, all the ale horn. It's all going to be part of the deal. Is
Oh, that
a metal cookbook, and I would love it if you would contribute a recipe.
I will absolutely contribute a cool ass recipe. I'll definitely
Fuck
do
yeah,
that.
dude. Hell
Yeah.
yeah, man. So before we go, always links, they're listed below. Give likes, shares, follows, go do all the things and all the stuff. See them play live. Hopefully they're going to be having some live shows here coming up soon. Life happens. Things, it's hard these days, especially like right now, fucking snowmageddon outside of here in the Midwest, fucking getting dumped on snow. Even the fucking military base shut down.
Good grief.
Yeah, crazy shit, man. Uh, dude, shout outs. Anything else you'd like to promote? Who we shouting out? What are we promoting?
We got a show February 20th at Wrong Side 812 with the Response and Gas Station Boner Pills out of Atlanta, Georgia. It's going to be like kind of a metal punk crossover night. It's going to be killer. Come
Yeah.
out. I think starts at 8. $10 at the door, man, and y'all want your eardrum split, come out. The music's going to be great. It's going to be a good vibe. It's always a great vibe out there.
Dude, I love the Response. I'm gonna try and come to that. I gotta work that morning, that Saturday morning, and then Ice Howl has a show in Terre Haute that next day, February
Oh
21st.
yeah, not fun. Definitely, yeah, definitely be
So
dragging ass that day.
yeah, so if I go to the show the night before and then work the next morning, and then a 3 hour drive to that show, and then
Oh,
yeah, and then a 3 hour drive back home after that show. Oh yeah, fucking metal. That's what it's all
fucking
about.
metal, baby. Yeah.
That's what it's all
Shout
about.
out to the fellas in the band, Chris, Justice, Jay, Marlon, all y'all. Y'all know y'all the brotherhood. I love you guys. shout out to just all the sledge heads out there, all the people that, take their time to say that, y'all like the music. It means more to us than you could ever know. Thank you for
We
that.
have to say
Uh,
we at least JW.
JW. Yeah, that's my dog right there. Shout
Yeah,
out to
you got
JW and Big Nathan. Yeah,
yeah.
both those are the additional, like, the additional members right there.
Yeah, they're 5 and
Big
6.
Nathan
Yeah.
and yeah, yeah, they're definitely in JW. We like they help out, and they are definitely instrumental in the EIB machine. That's for certain. So
Hell
everybody
yeah,
is, dude.
man.
The why. It's kind of like, you know what I mean. The tribe, dude. We put it together to just
Yeah,
get it
man.
done, dude.
Everybody supports everybody. Everybody has a part. Nobody's left out. Everybody gets to, hey,
Yeah.
we're playing this
That's
weekend. Cool. We'll know it's a weekend out or whatever. Or hey, I don't feel like going this weekend. It's like, well, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's also, like, we're, like, the family vibe. Everybody, we consider each other family at this point, and
sure.
but also, there's a vibe and a whole, I mean, that bond right there. That's special. You can't be replaced. It's just something that's been really cool to be a part of.
Fuck yeah, dude. Dude, Scott, this has been awesome. I love this. We're definitely going to do this again in person when the weather is nicer. When we've both got something else coming up and everything. We'll get something together and we'll all do something.
That sounds cool, man.
My final question is, what three things that would be if you could do it before you died? Three bucket list items that you still have yet to attain. What are they?
Items. I would definitely like for EIB to have another major festival to play that, and a major tour. Those are two buckets. I have no delusions of grandeur about the getting the record deal at this. It's like, I just would like to see the music spread and us be able to do it, and bring it to people. And I also, I would like to bucket list. Definitely, like to find happiness in the business venture that I'm choosing. That's something that'd be a benchmark, and just have a harmonious family in life. That's my other benchmark.
Hell yeah, dude. Dude, that's awesome. And yeah, fucking, just happiness and harmonious, like straight out. Yeah. That,
Yeah,
being able to seek the balance in it, that's definitely where it's at.
it is. It is. I mean, it's just like, you can either be angry, or you can, take and figure out a solution. And it's just a lot more energy, being angry at every situation instead of just figuring out solutions to situations. And, you'll feel better about yourself too. You really
Yeah.
just find
No.
that balance. It's something that, it's came through quite a bit this year for me, is that balance. And I've enjoyed it. I've definitely enjoyed the balance.
Hell yeah, man. And that's what it's about, finding that moment of peace, I guess, that I think that especially with the crazy shit that's all going on every fucking single day of everybody's lives. And
Yeah.
you know just to be able to fucking have just even a moment, where shit's just not on fire,
It
literally.
is, as being dad and husband, it's kind of like, I feel like it's my responsibility to offer sanctuary. You walk through the doors, you know what I mean? We need to take and some place where you come to decompress, and not like, that energy to ball up and get worse, because everybody's got stressful jobs. I do, my wife does. Everybody has these things, and it's just better to be able to come home and just let the steam valve off and not worry about, like all this stuff being crazy at home too. So, it's a balance. You got to find, and you do it for your family too.
Hell yeah, man. Dude, thank you so fucking much, Scott. I appreciate you. This has been an awesome conversation. Um, Dude, I'm looking forward to new music as always because, dude, you guys are one of my favorite Louisville area bands. I love, coming out, and I love playing shows with you all because it's always like, we have this cool synergy and cool crossover crowd where, you all are heavier, but we're thrashier, and it's like, but we have this cool crossover where we just bring a lot of the same people, and it's so cool.
Like, I think what really works with us is that we both bring something unique to the table that's a different, like subset of metal. And people, like generally speaking, when they like one, they like the other, when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to our styles, but they don't have to like sit through two bands that sound exactly the same. So they
Sure.
get this high energy show where they get both ends. And that's what I always enjoyed about, our shows is because you guys are always, y'all bring it. And I love the style that you guys, with the thrashiness and everything. And it's just always enjoyable to watch you guys. It just, so, and I know the fans are the same way, because literally that's like, that's why I asked you about the one show, because Jerry's like, oh, I love those guys. And I was like, I
Oh
know, right,
yeah.
man? Like, why not, man? It's like, you got to
Well,
always ask.
Donnie Vagrant, I'm
Yeah.
sure you know, I
Oh,
love the
that guy was
response.
the dude. Like, honestly, like his response to the last couple of shows that he has been at. I cannot wait to watch because like them guys, like when
Well,
we're
we were supposed
playing.
to play that together last year.
Yeah. Yes, and but like Donnie, when he comes out, him and the other guys, they're always really cool, and they're right there in front of the stage, and and the response, I couldn't wait to see them. Is like, man, so to see them on this new bill, I can't wait, because I'm gonna pay that back to them,
Oh
where I
yeah.
mean, those guys are getting crazy, and I'm like, you gotta give that love back to them guys, because like, if they're a fucking kick-ass band too, so
Oh yeah.
it's
They
gonna be a good
absolutely
show.
are. Sean and Donnie and the band. Yeah, they're great. I mean, that
Yeah,
Alcove show last year was a blast anyways.
it definitely was. It was.
It was perfect weather out. It wasn't too hot. I mean, it was a little bit overcast, and it was just like it was like the month of Overload and Ice Howl, because I had one show at the Wednesday before, which was Ice Howl in Indy. And then I had the show at the Alcove on Saturday with Overload. And then 2 weeks later, we had another show at Wrong Side. And then 2 weeks after that, we had another show at Magbar. And then that Saturday, Ice Howl had another show.
Oh yeah, that was a hopping time period.
Yeah, that was just like, what place am I in this week, and where do I got to be? Why the fuck did I allow this to be booked?
It
It's just,
happens.
that's the fun part of it. It's like, holy shit, I'm working my ass off this month. I haven't been this busy since I'm 19 years old. No. Dude, that's the fun part of it.
It is. Definitely is.
Dude, Scott from the Boar's Nest. On our way out today from Eulogy and Blood, what do you want to play?
Ah, man, what do we want to play? Let's play Oathbreaker, man. Let's play Eulogy and Blood's Oathbreaker out. Let the audience get a taste of that.
Hell yeah. Oathbreaker. Yeah.
Hey metalheads, you like tattoos? Of course you do. If you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, come on over the bridge to Clarksville, Indiana, and get you some ink done at Ageless Art. If ink isn't your thing, they have a piercing studio as well. Visit agelessartclarksville.com to see some frequently asked questions, meet the staff. The shop is open Monday through Thursday, 12 to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 12 to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 12 to 6 p.m., all appointment-only spots. You can set up your appointments by phone at 812-283-1793 or email agelessarttattooandpiercing@gmail.com, and someone will get you set up for your first or your next tattoo or piercing.
Hey metalheads, after going to a rager, what's your ultimate go-to? Mine is totally pizza. So when Overload is playing, or I'm promoting the Metal Forge live showcases, or the big goddamn metal show, I go to Pizza DoNisi. Pizza DoNisi is gourmet artisan pizza from right here in Louisville, Kentucky. It features things like the pizza of the month, the sandwiches, and also vegetarian and vegan options, which is so totally fucking cool for all of it's awesome pizza. You definitely want to go. Hey, and also from time to time they do cannolis. Oh, so fucking good. You know what they said, man? Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Yeah, just like that in Godfather. They're located right next to the Mag Bar at 1396 South 2nd Street. So either stop in or call in at 502-213-0488. They're open till midnight. The witching hour.
Heineken, fuck that shit. Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Hey metalheads, you all hear me talk about Mag Bar all the time. It is the home to the Metal Forge live showcases and is an integral stop in the ultimate underground metal tour schedule. They obviously feature live music, but the Mag Bar also has daily specials like Pint and Slice Night on Tuesdays with Pizza DoNisi. But they also do Bring Your Own Vinyl on Thursdays with DJ Kent Jackson, and Finer Things Sundays. Located right next to Pizza DoNisi at 1398 South 2nd Street, open 3 p.m. to 4 a.m. 7 days a week. Get your asses out to the Mag Bar. Rock out. For 45 years in keeping Louisville weird, Electric Ladyland has been there for all your eccentricities. While they do offer the best smoking supplies out on the market today, there's a whole lot more to check out. From ashtrays and blacklight posters, to records, incense and burners, and items to stock your metaphysical supply. They are open from 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Located at 2325 Bardstown Road in Louisville, Kentucky, and at electricladyland420.com. Roll out. In 2017, one man's vision and passion for all things metal started out as a record store in his house. Years later, the fight against a mainstream empire continues as Shadebeast. An independent metal collective and online store based in Athens, Georgia, is the world's premier heavy metal brand for music heads that value authenticity over the mainstream acceptance. Featuring original t-shirts from some of the best underground artists, as well as stickers, posters from the Shadebeast Presents concert series.
unique, one-of-a-kind collectibles and small curated selection of vinyl and cassettes from the masters old and new. Visit Shadebeast.com and enter promo code SithLord for free domestic shipping on your first order, whether you're a new customer or returning. And be sure to join the Shadebeast social groups on Facebook and the interwebs to keep up with the new release announcements and talk all things metal and Star Wars. You'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and filth.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? Then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The Sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Since 2013, there has been a calling from the underground, from the graves of all those unholy, and they decided to make a zine to talk about all of this. Soul Grinder Zine! An independent metal zine to keep you informed on all things metal and horror from the underground. Available in both print and digital formats, they're bringing you the best interviews and reviews out there today. Not only do they do the zine, but they also do compilation CDs. Check them out at facebook.com/soulgrinder.zine and start your subscription now. Hey everybody, let me tell you about the new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Unchained Tapes. They're an independent Pennsylvania tape label. They focus on extreme metal and punk with a killer approach to the tape scene. Visit their web store at unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com now to get your fill of tapes. And for being a Metal Forge listener, enter the code METALFORGE10 at checkout to get a 10% discount on your total purchase. That's unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com.
What's up, Metal Forge fans? This is Alan Bishop, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest and head distiller at Spirits of French Lick. Do you find yourself drawn to the unexplained, fascinated by the Fortean, or enchanted by the paranormal? If the things that go bump in the night resonate in your mind, then tune into my brand new podcast, If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything. Featuring first-hand accounts, collected stories, interviews, history, and speculation related to all things not of this world. Available now on Anchor, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and more. Set back, relax, and remember, if you have ghosts, you have everything.
Hey, let me tell you guys about Mercenary Press. They're an independent London label and distributor of all things metal. Mercenary Press delivers the goods from their own independent zine. Trust me, you're going to want to get in on that. To distributing various bands from all over the world, including Cramp from Spain and Sadistic Force from Texas. Visit mercenarypress.bigcartel.com to find out what all they have in stock and what you can order. And for Metal Forge listeners, enter code MetalForge10 to receive a discount on your total purchase at mercenarypress.bigcartel.com. Check it out now. Hey Metalheads, it's with great pleasure I get to tell you guys about a new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Ageless Art, New Albany. After 20 years of owning and operating Ageless Art in Clarksville, Indiana, Phil Garrett had a vision for a new type of tattoo studio. Something that is clean and modern, sleek, refined, inviting. And he's done just that with Ageless Art in New Albany. You can find it at 2736 Charlestown Road, New Albany, Indiana, 47150. Business hours are Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sundays are 12 to 6. All sessions are appointment only, so give them a call and go get you some new ink. Or if it's your first time, go get your first one, baby.
In a broken wasteland, come to my fire and place your blood and steel upon